The reason we called you today is to have an opportunity to respond to the deliberate distortions of facts and different distortions on the evidence in the ongoing sodomy case going on at Mwanga 2 in Mengo. I find it necessary to make these statements to correct the deliberate misrepresentation of the facts and the evidence before court, the objective of which is to feed into Pastor Kayanja's false narrative that he is being pursued by me, Pastor Ssenyonga, and other pastors. He does this in order to deflect from the true facts and evidence that has been and is being presented to court. I'm careful not to preempt what's going on in the court proceedings. Therefore, I am going to limit my comments on what has already taken place in the courts of law. I am not here to tarnish Pastor Kayanja's name or anyone's name. That's not my purpose for this meeting or for my life. But to correct the deliberate lies that has now become propaganda circulating everywhere globally and is tarnishing our ministry and my name. Pastor Robert Kayanja, through so many bloggers and sympathizers of his ministry, have pushed a narrative that what is going on in the court is because of me or pastors. What is going on in the court is between himself and those that he accused. There are 9 of them. And none of those has my name. So, there are several news clips that have been going on that I'm going to correct. Some misinformation that I'm going to correct. And first of all, the narrative that the forensic expert did not validate or authenticate messages and information that he found on the phone. That narrative is wrong. The expert has never been questioned about his work being not authentic. He instead emphasized. He looked at different phones. The phones were between Pastor Kayanja's phone and the accused, Reagan. He confirmed that all the information he put in his report of 107 pages is correct, authentic, and was signed off. He did not do this work single-handedly. He did this from the hierarchy. He was given the mandate by his director, head of forensics, to do a job. After he did his work, he submitted it to the immediate supervisor. And then after that, another supervisor. Until the entire directorate of forensic department signed off. They signed off on every page. So the report is authentic according to the forensic department. and the court never pronounced itself that there was some gaps or non-professional information that was found on the phone. So when you push a narrative that the court pronounced itself about the report, that is false and is misleading. The forensic expert witness, while giving his evidence, confirmed that he extracted that information from the phone of Ssenyonga Regan, who is one of the accused persons. On the claim that Pastor Kayanja is not the one charging the accused, and that the accused are being charged by state, and that the accused never reported these serious sodomy allegations to any authority, I want to also clarify. First, it is Pastor Kayanja who initiated a complaint alleging that the accused tarnished his name by claiming he had sodomized them. So it was Pastor Kayanja's complaint to police. That they gave false information to one Nandutu, a police officer, about the alleged sodomy, and that they had trespassed at his church at Rubaga Miracle Center. It follows, therefore, that the prosecution of the accused is at his instance. In other words, the prosecutor is working from his complaint. If Kayanja never complained, this case will not be going. And to prove that, if Pastor Kayanja tomorrow says, I have lost interest in the case, that case will fall flat and you'll be withdrawn. And that's when you hear people say, the prosecution or DPP has lost interest in the case. Why? The complainer pulled out. So to tell the world, he is not the one who took the boys to court, or it is just Uganda versus the boys, that can't stand without a complainant. Mr. Kayanja is the one who filed the complaint, and he's the one pushing. Recently, the prosecutor, Mr. Jonathan Mwaganya, in the last court proceedings, he said, Pastor Robert Kayanja is my main complainant. He said that. And that's why he was actually advocating, so that he was advocating that Channel 44 should not be punished for misinforming the community. So if you are just a prosecutor of the government, why are you now acting as a lawyer of another television station in court? So there is unity there, and Pastor Kayanja is part of why they are in that predicament. Secondly, the evidence on record is that the accused lodged a complaint about the sodomy. The 9 people, or some of the 9 people that are being accused, they also accused Pastor Kayanja. But you saw Channel 44 saying the accused never reported their sodomy claims anywhere to the authorities or to the police. That is wrong. They filed a complaint against Pastor Robert Kayanja that he sodomized them. So the court directed the police and the prosecution to ensure that Pastor Kayanja's phone is taken from him and subjected to a forensic investigation. That despite that the directive and the order of court was that his phone is released to be examined, that has never happened. The fact that the file that was opened with the IO being Nandutu, the police officer, in that file of Kayanja, she said that Kayanja had a case to answer. When she said that, she referred that file to DPP to prosecute. And instead, DPP closed the file. So to say they never reported these issues to police anywhere is wrong, because the file is there. What does that mean? The boy's file against Robert Kayanja was prematurely closed because the investigations were not done to their fullness. The phone was not investigated or forensicked, and other aspects of investigation were not concluded. But it was picked quickly and was closed. So that's another negative narrative that they're trying to push, and it fails. They claim that they said that the defense expert failed to validate key evidence. That also is false. The defense witness presented his report in which he established that there were sodomy, vulgar, and explicit sexual-related videos and WhatsApp messages sent by Ssenyonga Regan to Pastor Kayanja's phone, which messages were never refuted by Pastor Robert Kayanja. He confirmed this while giving his evidence in chief. If you can see, if one sends you a video, a bad message, and it's a wrong message, and you don't refute it, you don't say, why are you sending me such a video? What's wrong with you? When someone sends you a message and say, you did this to me, and you keep quiet, and you keep sending money for a year or two, and you are still continuing the relationship and communication, what are you trying to say? So I am not here to make conclusions, but I am here to ask Pastor Robert Kayanja. He should be answering those questions. Where can a young man under you get the guts to send such messages on your phone? The defense witness also confirmed that immediately upon receipt of some of the sodomy messages, Pastor Kayanja made a video call to Ssenyonga Regan, but Regan did not pick that phone call. Further, the expert confirmed that on 26th of February 2021, Regan Ssenyonga's number initiated a WhatsApp conversation and images, which included naked images, and they were shared to a WhatsApp user ID, and the number is listed below. I will not tell you the whole number because of his own privacy, but the number ends with 6503. That is the number for Pastor Robert Kayanja. It was confirmed in court that's his number. He was also in court previously last year. He confirmed that was his number then, and the expert stated that he established that videos were sent by Pastor Robert Kayanja to Ssenyonga, but that the videos could not be opened because they were deleted. So here we see Regan sending videos, explicit messages, WhatsApp messages, and all of that. And also we see Pastor Robert Kayanja sending videos. Some of them couldn't open, or all of them couldn't open. But the witness further confirmed that there were 2 phone calls initiated by Pastor Robert Kayanja and his number to the number of Ssenyonga Regan, and the conversation was recorded. The phone call was authenticated, The recording was authenticated that it was coming from this number of Pastor Robert Kayanja and Regan Ssenyonga. Now, the conversation which was recorded on those 2 phone calls were homosexual in nature. I am not saying that. The court listened to those conversations. If each one of you were there, you were able to listen to those conversations between Pastor Robert Kayanja and Regan Ssenyonga. So, for the bloggers and other social network, activists to start pushing a narrative that this is all Pastor Ssenyonga doing it. Well, I know you think I'm powerful, but I don't think I'm powerful enough to enter into Pastor Kayanja's phone and start texting and making calls on his behalf and sound like I am the original Robert Kayanja in his voice. I am not that powerful. The narratives are, I am buying boys to tarnish Pastor Robert Kayanja's name. This is nothing to do with me. The issue is between 2 people. One is accusing the other. So if I'm buying, if my purpose is to tarnish Pastor Kayanja's name, that means maybe I also bribed him to make calls to Regan so he can tarnish his own name so I can feel happy. There are things you can't do from the outside. One should be responsible with his line and the content that goes on that. If your line was found that it was used to steal someone's money or to commit fraud, won't they hold you accountable? If there is an investigation in a murder case and they found out you are the last person who called that number and the content was recorded and the content was kind of threatening, doesn't that suggest something? So, because the ongoing issues are before court, I am not here to determine that Pastor Kayanja is guilty, and I'm not going to go ahead and give instructions or suggestions to the judge, but I'm here to clear my name from what is going on. There is also another narrative. I don't know if you have understood my point. That was the biggest point of the day. Pastor Kayanja should respond to how does his phone receive messages, WhatsApp messages, video calls, and pornographic homosexual pictures and video clips from the very boy who is telling him, you sodomized me. This is not a third party. It's not a picture from the sky or from somebody from outside the country. The boy is saying, you sodomized me and I have evidence. And he gives you read the court read a message. The expert read a message before court where Regan says, I can't say because I'm a pastor. I can't say those vulgar words. But it's explicit. It's not dancing around. He's saying, you did this to me, give me my money. And you eventually send them money. If it was me, I would say, what did you say? I would even call police. Are you trying to imply or to suggest or to mean that I did this? You did not refute. You kept quiet. You eventually sent the money. So, the court would decide. But I'm here to just ask all you bloggers and news people to focus on the nitty-gritty of what's going on in the court. Pastor Ssenyonga is not mentioned in the court, at least these days. But the narrative is this: as long as we bring another pastor and frame him into this saga, the questions that the public would ask us, we will not be able to answer those. We are going to focus on the enmity of the church, or the wrangles within the church, or the misunderstanding between pastors. And so they can frame someone. Well, it worked last time in another case about him, where predominantly you were only seeing two people fighting against someone. But I want you to understand that right reporting is going to be helpful to our country to arrive to a place where justice can be served. Attempt was to ensure the expert is looked at as non-competent. That is another narrative. Remember, these are all game A, game B, game C, game D. They have it. Okay? First, they say the pictures that were shown and the images and the messages were AI generated. Channel 44 said that. Who said that? No one said that in the court. Even prosecution never said that. The judge never said that. But they are saying it was confirmed and found out that this was AI generated. Who? It is not up to Channel 44 to decide the authenticity of messages and videos. That is the power invested in the court. And then you say the expert was a diploma holder. That's a desperate attempt to try to dance around. This is an expert who didn't do his work single-handedly and in isolation. It is a whole directorate of forensic. Let me give you two aspects about him, because I have found out now the truth. This gentleman, Mr. Enoch, was validated by the Ministry of Internal Affairs as one of the experts in forensics in Uganda. If you can go to the website of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, you'll find it. The Ministry of Internal Affairs lists him as one of the few forensic experts that Uganda has. That's number one. Number two, this expert has been responsible to higher profile cases. Right now, this gentleman is the forensic expert in the Katanga murder case. That's a high profile. Remember, this is trespass. Trespass is very sick. Sometimes it's a misdemeanor. Now, ironically, Mr. Jonathan Muwaganya, the prosecutor, he is using the same man in the Katanga case, because Mr. Jonathan Muwaganya, the prosecutor, he's also the one prosecuting the Katanga murder case. So he confided in Mr. Enoch's expertise and took him there as a government expert. And they've been working together to push that case. Only now, he's on the other side. He's a defense witness. Now he's trying to say, you are now a diploma holder. So you can see the double standards that are happening here. Okay? So those things you hear, please don't just blog. Or don't just air. Get the facts. I encourage you and I challenge you. If you want the facts, go to the court. Go to court. Sit there. Give yourself time and be able to consume this information. If you saw the pictures, if you saw the the text messages, the whatever, you wouldn't be arriving to such a position where someone calls you and say, oyo munkubire, kisindike, bin sindise. We are talking about real lives here. We are talking about, this could be your brother, your sister, your brother, your son. We are talking about pursuing justice. So do your work as journalists, and I think the nation will be in a better place. Thank you. We will not be intimidated. We know that this case is not about us. And when we report what we know to be true, and when we say what we know to be true presently at this time, because the court has not pronounced itself on any of those issues, but presently we are speaking from the position of knowledge of what's available. And when we say that, we mean what we say. And if you want to take action, go ahead and take action, and we'll see you in court. And if you do, then the court gives us an opportunity also to complain and also to counter. And we'll see how that goes. But I thought maybe you don't have the full information. Everything I said and more has now been given to you, and you have it in copy. There are issues I didn't even address today because I didn't want to give you too much. The purpose for this meeting today is to ask you to emphasize the truth of what I just said. One, I am not after Kayanja. He's dragging me in to deflect from the truth. Number two, Pastor Kayanja should dwell on the main issue. The main issue is, if my testimony and my reputation is at stake, I would attack the wrong information that is being viewed, other than attacking different people that are third party. But Pastor Kayanja should answer, how did the pornographic video come on pastor's phone? Enonyayo chi sajja musumba kubira osabana kunonya mafuta ate kati kiki kyalina okuddamu, not to just intimidate